I'm gonna tell one more story. I'm getting tired. When you get tired, it's time to call it a day. So I want to tell you one more story though. It's about angels, about a vision I had. And if the story is short enough, I might. Well, I think I already told the other story about worshiping with the angels. I think I did. Can't remember. But anyways, I was at my church in Moss Bluff, man, at the Moss Bluff Pentecostal Church, and I was we were having worship service, and the worship musicians and singers, the worship team was up there worshiping, leading everybody in worship. And the Holy Ghost has dropped. And I can't contain myself. And I'm out in the aisle. And I'm dancing and I'm jumping up and down and spinning around and shouting and screaming and rejoicing. And it just keeps getting stronger. And I start speaking in tongues. And I'm going back and forth as loud as I possibly can, speaking in tongues and praising and worshiping. And I'm going back and forth up and down the aisle, the center aisle. And I'm worshiping and I'm praising and the song's going on. And the Holy Ghost is rushing through me. And I just feel these waves and charges of powerful spiritual energy. And I'm shaking, man. It's like ecstasy. It's like the drug ecstasy, but it's Holy Ghost. And there's no lust in it. There's no sex in it. It's awesome. That's the only way I can describe it, man. It's like it blows that little stupid crap away. It does. And if it doesn't, I'd be dead from a drug overdose, because I wouldn't want to live unless I was high on something. I was too empty and miserable. So anyways, I'm flowing, boy, and I'm praying in the tongues, and it's coming out. I have no idea what I'm even saying. And whenever I turn back, man, I stop. And the platform is up there, and the singers are up there. Brother Mahoney is down on the front row in that chair where he normally sits during worship. And after the worship is over, he goes up and he starts to preach. To the top right hand, on the top right hand side of where the baptistry is, there's a big hole in the wall where the baptistry is. Right up there, right above that, God is my witness, man, the whole freaking heavens open up, dude. They did. And I was speaking in tongues, man, and I had a freaking vision of Jesus Christ. I did. It was heaven. It was a big old open room. And the only two colors in this vision were white and gold. And the atmosphere, just like the air is our atmosphere, and it looks invisible to us with our human naked eyeballs. But that's an atmosphere. Well, up there, it was a golden, glorious. It was like a light, but it was kind of like a gold, brassy, electric atmosphere. And it was light. It was kind of golden, like it's like light at the dawn of a new day, dude. But there's no sun. It's just that color. And I see in that atmosphere, I see these angels, dude, and they have these gold freaking girdle vestiture looking things, and they have long flowing white robes. Okay, and I couldn't see individual facial features. They were too far away. But they had these big freaking wings. And some of them were on the ground, but they were filling that whole air, and they were flying. They were like floating, really. Their wings weren't really moving. They were just kind of floating there. And then I seen a white throne. just like in the freaking Bible. Just like in Isaiah. God is my witness, strike me dead if I'm lying. But I'm not. I saw his throne. And it was like these platforms. Okay. At the very base, at the bottom of the throne, it was a huge platform. Almost like a square platform that was probably maybe 12 inches tall. And there was a square on top of that may have been a foot shorter than the other one. You see what I'm saying? It's like, let's say you had a 10-foot square, and then the one on top of that was like a 9-foot square. But it's a lot bigger than that, because, I mean, they just stacked up, man, for about 3 freaking stories. Okay, so those squares just stacked up and got smaller as they went up. And at the very top of that was a throne. And the square on that throne was absolutely flush with the front and back and sides of that chair, which was Jesus Christ's throne, and he was in it. I saw him. It was a flush square. There was no room for nothing on the sides, front, or back. It was flush. And he was in it. And steps went all the way up to the top. And I saw Jesus on that throne in that vision when I was worshiping in that church speaking in tongues. And I saw all them freaking angels floating around him. And the spiritual quickening that he gave me was absolute freaking authority on this earth. Grown man, testosterone, masculine, hold it down, unshakable, Don Corleone, Godfather, freaking tough guy authority. They didn't say a word to me, but whenever I saw them, I was like, the Lord, he ain't freaking playing. He owns it, baby. It's his. And his Holy Ghost homeboys, I mean his angelic homeboys, man, they were unified. Okay. And the interesting thing that I noticed is even though that Jesus had all that authority and he's God, there was no hierarchy. He was friends and they were equal with each other. It wasn't that he was the big shot boss man and they kissed his freaking butt because he's got the stroke and they don't. It wasn't like that. He was equal with them. He was humbled and he was equal with them. That's all I can tell you, man. I can't explain it. It was a spiritual thing that I saw and I received it in my spirit. But it was absolute, unshakable. I ain't got nothing to worry about because I'm freaking God and these are my freaking boys. And I ain't worried about none of that little freaking mess going down there on the earth because I'm the boss. Okay. I'm the Don Corleone. You know, it was like that. It was like there was no joke. It's like backbone breaking freaking clay vessels with a rod of iron type spirit I felt on the Lord and them angels, dude. It was freaking tough. So anyways, I saw that vision and then I told Brother Mahoney about it afterwards. You know, I couldn't contain it, man. I don't know what he was thinking when I told him that, but I think he believed me. But you know, I was full of the Holy Ghost, man. I had to tell somebody. But that's the last thing I want to say, man. It was like the Holy Ghost, Heavenly Cosa Nostra, baby, and you better not freaking forget it either.